Alright, so this video will be containing spoilers from the manga, so if you've not read the manga or you don't want to get spoiled, you should not watch this video. Alright, so we're back with the series of the reviews and breakdown of the Demon Slayer episodes. This week's episode covered around 3 chapters from the manga. They did cut some things from the manga, but not that much. This episode is basically the calm before the storm, and you could see with the animation that this was definitely more the chill episode where they didn't put their best animators or as much time as the big episodes, which totally makes sense. That was a training episode and some lore as well, so it didn't need any insane animation, and I think the animation served exactly what it needed to do for this episode. And I think for me, my favorite thing for this episode was the music. The OST felt so much like a breath of fresh air. It felt like something new that I'd never heard in Demon Slayer in terms of OST, and I just love it. Already the episode starts right in and we already see the Yoriichi Type 0's face, and we can see that he has multiple arms in the manga. We don't see the Yoriichi Type 0 until Moichiro actually fights against it. So this whole part where we see the Yoriichi Type 0 in the background while they're talking is all anime only. And I think the anime only people were confused and they were like, wait, what the hell, this is a puppet and stuff. I think the thing that was confusing as well is that Tanjiro wasn't talking about it much, like he didn't talk about the earrings or even the hair that are so similar to him and his dad. So it's funny that Tanjiro didn't really talk about it, or Kotetsu didn't even talk the fact that Tanjiro has the same earrings. So that's why in the anime compared to the manga it was a little bit funny, because in the manga when Tanjiro sees the Yoriichi Type 0 he's fighting, so it's more understandable why he wouldn't notice the earrings and he would notice the arms before it. In terms of the speech, what they're talking about here with Moichiro slapping Kotetsu is exactly as in the manga. They're going really fast paced. Since there's a lot of dialogue and lore in those 3 chapters, they had to go really fast paced in that one, and you could really feel that it was fast, like Moichiro just slapping Kotetsu, then slapping Tanjiro. Everything was going really fast. The compositing again in this episode looked amazing. The characters looked amazing. The background looked amazing. I mean, Demon Slayer definitely has one of my favorite, if not my favorite anime in terms of background and consistency. Like the background is always beautiful. Moichiro really felt dislikable in this episode. He was basically a dick and a prick. Like you can't really like Moichiro in this episode. Obviously people are gonna start to like him even more as this season goes on for sure, but in this episode I think they portrayed really well where Moichiro is at right now. And I gotta give credit to the voice actor as well. I just can feel that the voice actor for Tanjiro is just getting better and better. He's just really portraying Tanjiro's emotion perfectly with his voice and how he talks. And even Moichiro on this episode was perfect as well, you know. And Kotetsu, I love Kotetsu so much. He's such a cool addition. He's funny and he trained Tanjiro pretty harshly in this, which was a good thing for Tanjiro in the end. They kept Aganezuka behind the trees just listening. This is cool as well to see that they kept this in. Here in this shot, Moichiro, we've seen this shot in the trailer almost 1 year and 2 months ago, so that's been animated a while ago. I mean, we know that some content from at least episode 4 or 5 was already animated a year ago, and I really love the lines that they're using on Moichiro's eyes to make him really feel empty and no emotion and anything. I'm gonna love this transition of we're gonna see his little spark in his eyes, his little glow in his eyes as the season goes on. This is a really cool detail. This scene here where Tanjiro gets knocked out is pretty fast, and I feel like it didn't have as much impact as in the manga, but it's just a little detail. That's where you can kind of see where they're going really fast. I really love this addition here in the anime where we can see the box of the Yoriichi Type 0 and it's written the name on the box. This is a really cool detail that's not in the manga as well. I love that. This whole next sequence where Moichiro fights against the Yoriichi Type 0 in the manga, it's one panel. I think they did it justice. And I'm pretty sure this whole sequence was made by a new animator, a young animator that's coming up. So that's pretty cool that Ufotable are putting some new talent and making them grow, not just using veteran and just people that are already master of their craft, you know. And since it's only episode 2 and it's more of a training episode, it's not that big of a deal, you know. I just don't want them to use too much like newcomers and young people on like the massive episodes, right? The camera movement and angle in this is pretty good. I think the thing that's lacking the most here is the movements in terms of the characters. So Moichiro and the Yoriichi Type 0, maybe the movements are not as good or fluid. Yoriichi Type 0 looks amazing in the anime as well. It looks all exactly as in the manga basically. And then you have this darn crow, bro, as annoying or even more annoying than in the manga. This freaking eyelashes motherfucker. The voice is annoying, perfectly fitting for this crow, but this crow does deliver some great information about Moichiro being a descendant of the Sun Breeders, which is a big reveal. But everything here is exactly as in the manga. It says basically the same thing. Tanjiro is like, but he isn't using sun breeding though. The speech by Kotetsu saying that it is a memory from his ancestor, exactly as in the manga as well. I think they did it really well. I love that Kotetsu has the same voice actor as Hinata in IQ. I think it fits perfectly. All the shots here where Moichiro destroyed the Yoriichi Type 0 armor is exactly as in the manga. Like the shots are exactly the same. It's perfect. The only thing missing here in the scene with Tanjiro talking to Kotetsu in the trees are the crow going at it, and I'm so sad that they left this out of the episode because this is one of the funniest moments of this whole arc, and I would love for them to kept it, and they didn't, which is you know, it's a sad moment, man. Moichiro finishes his training and throws his sword to Tanjiro and saying to dispose of it. It's the same as in the manga. Again, the voice acting here is perfect. I love this shot where we just see Moichiro walking with the sword and the Yoriichi Type 0 arm, because we saw this shot in the trailers, but in the trailers they erased the arm of the Yoriichi Type 0, so it's a cool little detail here. This is a scene that I was really excited to see because I'm a sucker. I love the rain scene. Just the setting when it rains in anime just looks amazing. It's one of my favorite settings, and so I was really hyped to see it, and it didn't disappoint. I love this with the rain. Amazing. I love the little addition in the anime where Kotetsu is cranking the doll. It's not in the manga, so I love this little addition. And again, the music and all those scenes, I'm guessing this is the Yoriichi Type 0 team. I love this music. It's so good. Again, here the exact same shot as in the manga. Beautiful panel, and yeah, it just looks amazing. I love that we can see the cogs working inside of Yoriichi Type 0 exactly as in the manga. It looks really good. We get an anime only content scene here with Tanjiro basically training with the Yoriichi Type 0. If I had to nitpick a little bit here, I do think the Yoriichi Type 0 here looks pretty slow, like it doesn't seem too fast. You're kind of like, alright, Tanjiro should be able to beat it. Obviously it's maybe a little bit in slow-mo, but it does feel a little bit slow and not as dangerous as you would like it to. We have a shot here of the Yoriichi Type 0, and I'm pretty sure this looks like CGI. It doesn't look that bad, to be honest, but I think this is CGI. Correct me if I'm wrong. Now here they cut some stuff from the manga again with some narration. They always do that. They cut the narration part from the manga, which kind of sucks. Sometimes it's like cool info and good info, and we had the shot of Giyu as well. I would love to see Giyu, even like a little snippet, but we didn't. And then we have a whole scene basically cut from the manga where Kotetsu is showing to Tanjiro how he makes basically the doll work with turning the fingers to adjust to the weakness of the swordsman who wants to train with it, and basically saying that the old training that Moichiro did with the Yoriichi Type 0 was pointless. They cut all of that, which I don't think is necessarily a good choice. That was pretty important. In the bigger picture, it doesn't change much, but it's still some info that I would like to. But since there was so much narration and just dialogue in those 3 chapters, they just had to go really fast, which I'm not mad. I actually like that they did 3 chapters here here because now we get in the real action fast, probably in the next episode, so I'm not too mad about it. Right now here I love this cut of Tanjiro fighting against the Yoriichi Type 0 because the Yoriichi Type 0 actually feels like he's pretty fast, and this is where Tanjiro basically faints and goes almost in the afterlife. This whole sequence looks just amazing. It's exactly as in the manga as well. I was really curious how they would do this, and they did it perfectly, and that's just a funny part. And it's basically symbolism and Tanjiro finding this new technique where he can sense the enemy's attacks coming, and everything here about the compositing and everything looks so good for no reason. It's pretty funny because this is probably one of the best sequence of the whole episode. This part, so that's cool though. You love that his new technique is not something just random, it's actually with his sense of smell. We see him from the start of the show where he can basically sense an opening thread with his sense of smell, but now he's using that to sense the attack coming, so it's more defensive than offensive. This is definitely one of my favorite sequences of the episode as well. I really love how they depicted Tanjiro being like looking frail, looking just like his dad, like in the manga. He hasn't eaten or drank. I love how Tanjiro looks here with like his uniform being kind of fucked up and everything, just looks so badass. And they did cut some narration again from the manga where they basically talking about Tanjiro's new technique to sense the attack coming. It's basically saying that Tanjiro's reflex and reaction speed is not as good as a pillar right now, but this new technique where he can sense the enemy's attacks coming, and now with that he can counter attack easily. It's basically said that in the manga with this technique it helps Tanjiro to be able to keep up with even Ashura's, so that's a cool little info that we don't get in the anime. This is one of my favorite cuts of the episode here, with basically the sword and the arm of the Yoriichi Type 0 just passing in front of the camera. It's such a great shot, man. The sequence here, amazing, and you can really see how fast the Yoriichi Type 0 is as well. And the key animation here was done by Takeyoshi Omagari, so shout out to him, man. He did a great job here. So we see basically Tanjiro dodging the attack, going mid-air, doing like kind of a front flip, back flip, and going for the beheading. And this is, in my opinion, a pretty good foreshadowing for what happens in the Infinity Castle with Akaza, how Tanjiro lands a blow on Akaza. If you know, you know. He's in the same position. You know, this is a little bit of a foreshadowing for sure. This cut here is exactly as in the manga where Tanjiro basically beheads the Yoriichi Type 0 and gets basically a new haircut. I don't think we're gonna be able to notice that he actually got a haircut, you know, in the future episode. Here, where Tanjiro does like a 180 to behead him is an amazing cut. And the little scream that Tanjiro does here, amazing. I love this just little like scream by the voice actor, amazing. Here the Yoriichi doll breaking exactly as in manga, and then we see the sword, which I didn't know exactly what color the sword will be, like the handle, and it seems like the color is a golden kind of grayish color, and it looks really good, and I can't wait to see it with the handle of Rengoku, and the blade actually being like all black with the fire on it. That was definitely a conservative episode where they just didn't put all of their budget or their best animators on it. The background was still S tier, God tier. The voice acting was great. The music was amazing. There was some amazing sequence as well. I think it served its purpose. Now time for the prediction for the next episode. So the title for the next episode is called A Sword from 300 Years Ago. Well, I think this is just gonna be for the start of the episode. If I had to guess, I think we will be covering 2 chapters for the next episode. And hopefully we end on Genya on the roof with his gun. I hope we end there. We might get a little bit of anime only content scene, like a 1 minute here and there, but I think 2 chapters would be perfect. We have Atengu and Gyoko pulling up. We're gonna be able to see the clones as well, which I can't wait to see animated, and I can't wait to hear what voice actor it will be. We did get to see some shots from the trailers where we see Karaku's blast. Let me know what you thought about this episode and what are you most looking forward to in the next episode. Let me know. Don't forget to subscribe because I'll be doing a review for the ending this week as well. And obviously I'll be reacting to every episode and I'll be doing a review and breakdown for every episode of this season. So subscribe to don't miss out on that, and don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed this type of content, and I'll see you guys on the next one. See ya!